welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. We are meeting tonight in the Harry Butters Selectmen's Chambers at the Norwood Town Hall, 566 Washington Street. We have a lot of different items and appointments tonight, but before we begin any of that, I'd like to start us off with our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and moment of silent reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So our first appointment tonight isn't until 6:45, so I want to see how many of our simple items we can get crossed off. So I'm going to start with the item number 1, warrant signature update. This is the notification of reviewed and approved warrants signed by the board's representative. Do I have a motion? Motion made by Mr. Sad, seconded by Mr. Lane. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. And let's drop down to consent agenda. As a reminder, if there's something on the consent agenda that you want to pull aside for discussion, just say hold and we'll pull it aside. But today we have 4.1, which is one-day liquor permits for Hometown Arcade, St. Catherine's of Siena, and Jonathan Cardoni. 4.2, Town Common request for the Recreation Department's Halloween event. 4.3, a block party at Windsor Road and Hickory Road. 4.4, park and municipal lot requests for trunk or treat, Heritage Baptist Church Youth Rally, and Wilson Street Playground. 4.5, cemetery deeds for signature of the board. 4.6, Morse House request by the Norwood Democratic Town Committee. They have 3 requests for that location. And 4.7, sign placement request for the Friends of Memorial Library book sale. Do I have a motion? Motion to approve all by Mr. Plasko. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lane. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. So that just takes care of those. We'll go down to memoranda. Do I have a motion for memoranda?
Before you do that, could we maybe highlight 5.2 a little bit?
5.2? Absolutely. I had hoped we would do that a little later, but if you want to do it now, I think we got plenty of time.
I don't know if I can dig it out. Do you know much about it, Mr. Manager? Otherwise, I'll find a note and read it.
I believe it's the Mass Star Alliance has recognized Patty Fanning. Sorry if I could pull up the actual memo,
I might be able to pull it up here.
Thought I had it, oh, here.
but our favorite local historian, Patty Fanning, is winning yet another award, which is not a surprise to those of us who know Patty, but she deserves a little bit of recognition. Her regular work with Old Parish is absolutely fantastic, and she has been recognized again. I unfortunately don't have the document, which
The
has...
Mass Historical Alliance, I have it here.
There we go.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. We are pleased to share that Patty Fanning, PhD, a lifelong Norwood resident, was recognized by the Mass History Alliance in June with the Star Award for her continued service to preserving and sharing the history of Norwood with the public. Fanning was also recognized alongside several other local history heroes, as the award describes, from across the Commonwealth. They were recognized as the award recipients at their annual Mass History Conference on June 2nd in Amherst. So just a congratulations to Patty Fanning for winning the Mass History Alliance Star Award, and I think certainly appropriate for the board. Wanted to send her a letter of congratulations for her exceptional work in preserving the history of our community.
That's a good suggestion, so moved.
All right. Motion made by Mr. Plasko for a letter to congratulate Patty Fanning on her award. Do I have a second for that? Mr. Sad seconds. All in favor of that motion by Mr. Plasko, please say aye. 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 All opposed? Unanimous. And then with that said, there is an item on memoranda that I will pull out, but I'm just going to hold it for my agenda later in the meeting. Otherwise.
And I'd move to file 5.1 through 5.5.
Motion made by Mr. Plasko to file. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lane. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. All right, so it'll be another 5-ish minutes unless they're already out.
We can get through a couple of the new business items, I
Okay.
think, relatively quickly if you'd like, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I think so. Let's just start with 3.1.
Sure. This is an annual vote we bring before the board to set the income limits for the senior tax work-off program. The board has been running this program since 2004, and it's coordinated through the town's Human Resources Department. It's created in accordance with MGL Chapter 59, Section 5K. We place senior workers all throughout the town, as the board knows, a number of different departments. They serve as greeters here at Town Hall. Folks are able to work a certain amount of hours and then get a reduction on their taxes as well. The board earlier in the year approved an extension to the water sewer work-off, which we add on to this. So a senior can get up to $2,000 off of their taxes and an additional $300 off of their water sewer bill. The program's been very successful. There is an option for seniors who are unable to do the work physically to contact us, and we can have a volunteer do the work for them. So the program is available to everyone. One of the controls that we do have, and control's probably a bad word, one of the parameters that we're allowed to set locally is what the income limit is. Now, we've been increasing this fairly steadily for the last 6 or 7 years to make sure we can truly capture as many seniors in the community, if not all, who might need this. We set the income limit around this time for next calendar year. The program runs in a calendar year. I know it's one of those funny things where we're usually a fiscal year, except it's a calendar year. The proposal that we'd like to go with for this year is to set the income limit at 80% of the area median income. So area median income is used for a lot of different programs at the state and local level. If we increase it to that level, it's currently about $60,000. For a household of one, that will bring it to $92,000, which is also a little surprising that 80% of the median income for a household would be $92,000. But that means a single senior making less than $92,000 a year would income qualify for the program. A household of two, that amount becomes $850,000. We've always set an income limit. By setting it to AMI, if we ever didn't set one or we forgot to set one, it should grow with AMI, although the board always reserves the right to change that amount and increase it. In our research, towns are half this number. Some towns have no income limit at all. We'd still like to at least have some means test to the program, although we could look at eliminating that down the road. As I said, the current income limits are about $60,000 and $80,000 for that household of one, household of two. We know we did have at least 4 or 5 people who were income restricted from the program in the past year who would like to participate. And the goal is to get the program out there to as many seniors as possible, build it over time, which we've been doing. So our recommendation would be to increase the income limit to 80% of AMI for this area.
Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Mr. Mizuko. I have a question. You had written in your memo that seniors who complete 133 hours of work, they're eligible for that full amount, well, the top amount of.
Correct.
And you said last year we had 26 workers, 26 seniors take advantage of the program?
Correct.
Did any of them reach that 133 hours?
Almost all of them do.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
not everyone does the water sewer work-off, but the full tax program, almost everyone does the entire program.
That's great.
A lot of these folks are regular volunteers who will volunteer, let's say at the senior center for, 20 hours a week all year long.
Sure.
They happen to count these hours towards it, and they go right back to volunteering for free for us. We've gained a number of employees through this program. Lorraine, who works part-time in the HR department, started off in this program years ago, became a part-time employee. Pat Schick works for us part-time, per diem, and does this. We sometimes grab the senior workers to work as spare front desk staff when we need them. So it's led to other meaningful and gainful employment as well, and I think enjoyment for them. So it's been successful on that level as well.
That's great. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions? Mr. Sad?
I think it's a great program, 100%, but I think, Tony, if we could send a message out to those people, the senior center or something, get some architects, program managers, get some extra eyes maybe on projects, wouldn't hurt.
Sure.
And we'll take off all their taxes, all of it.
Well, we can't commit to that, but we
It'll save us.
What's the address?
Yeah. It'll
we
save
always
us a lot.
we don't always sometimes we struggle a little bit to find a department that has a need, but we always try to make sure we work with folks.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? And otherwise, what's the pleasure of the board on that item?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion made by Mr. Sad, seconded by Mr. Plasko. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
I think we can get through 3.2 fairly
Yeah,
quickly.
we
I
got
think
5
it'll
more
be quick.
minutes, and that should be pretty simple.
So this
3.2.
item is, would you like me to start with 3.2?
Yeah,
Sorry.
please.
This item, just discussing the authority of the Board of Selectmen to name parks in relation to renaming the Willett Ball Field to naming it after Lighty. We did the research that is required to be done, which we do. It's somewhat of a complicated process. We have to do deed research. We have to search prior selectmen's records. We have to search prior town meeting authorizations and just make sure there wasn't a gift or a grant or a property was taken or there was some other requirement or restriction with the park, with this piece of parkland. There was not. It was transferred from the school department to the town, to the selectmen in 2004. There's no other naming requirements. There's no other covenants or anything. So the board has the authority to name it as in they would any other park. We sometimes recommend a public hearing just to give the public a chance to be heard. In this case, we're not changing a name. I think it's just called Willett Field because it was adjacent to the Willett. It was not named the Willett Field. So in this case, we don't think that that's realistically necessary. If we were proposing a permanent change, that might be a much more involved process. So if the board is comfortable with the research that we've done in the process, vote to put on your next agenda, and then it would simply be a vote at that board to name the park. And whether or not you want to move forward with recording that, we could certainly do that. But after that point, it would be so named. And there was some grant money in a bond bill from Representative Rogers that would go to some improvements at the park as well.
Excellent. And then, as far as a public hearing, if we were going to take it up the next meeting, like, I don't see an issue with having it as a public hearing.
Yeah, there's no
Is it a
harm, no foul.
requirement?
No, no.
Okay. All right.
So why are we waiting till the 23rd?
I suppose you could change the name it now. It's just the way we listed it on the agenda was to discuss the process and let the board know we've concluded the research.
I suppose if we don't have a formal hearing, if somebody has an opinion, they could reach out to us in the meantime.
Correct.
Give them a
Yeah.
couple of weeks to do that, and then we can consider those comments.
Yeah, and again, one of the things we're confirming is we're not changing a name.
Right.
Where it's been called that, the Willett, it's just because it's adjacent to the building. It's not named anything.
Yeah. Any other questions or concerns on that item? All right, well then,
Would you like to have the naming of the park on your I think it's the 23rd agenda?
23rd, that's my preference. I'll take a motion if we need a formal motion for that.
So move.
All right, motion made by Mr. Plasko. I think I saw Mr. Sad's hand as the second first. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, unanimous.
We'll have that on your next agenda, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have a mere 2 minutes until the next meeting. I believe they might be in the hall.
I believe I see Mr. Ryan. Would you like me to see if he's available to come in 2 minutes early?
No, the pledge-
He is not.
Oh, no, it's
there's
public
no-
hearing,
Yeah,
sorry.
this is for the hearing. Have a seat. Let me get that open here. And I believe, do we have to hold to the exact 6:45, or can we go
I think it's
slightly early?
6:45.
Yeah.
6:45 by that clock.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, let's go ahead and, if I could have the reading of the opening for the public hearing.
Okay. Application has been made to the licensing board of the town of Norwood for a pledge of inventory and pledge of license for 50 Broadway Norwood LLC, DBA Broadway Liquors, 50-60 Broadway, Norwood, Massachusetts. Manager of record Samir Patel, to Rockland Trust Company. Description of premises is as follows. Interior space contains 2,500 square feet on one floor with 2 entrances and exits, one facing Broadway, the other facing the side of the premises. Sales area is 28 feet by 50 feet. The space has a restroom and 1 office, 9 feet by 7 feet. Public hearing on this application will be held on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, at 6:45 p.m. in the Harry B. Butters Chambers, Room 34, Norwood Town Hall.
Thank you, welcome. If I would go ahead and have you introduce yourself for the benefit of the public record.
Sure. Thank you, Board. My name is Matthew Porter. I'm the attorney for 50 Broadway, Norwood, LLC. So before the board, this is just a request for a pledge of license and pledge of inventory to Rockland Trust. When these folks originally bought the store, it's escaping my memory whether they purchased it for cash or whether it was seller financing, but they had then refinanced the store through Rockland Trust, who's just a conventional lender. So essentially just here before the board, just requesting a pledge of license and inventory to Rockland Trust in order for them to secure the loan. Nothing changes as far as the business is concerned whatsoever. This is more so just, keeping with the requirements of the ABCC as far as the pledge is concerned.
Excellent. I will go ahead and open it up to questions from the board, if there are any. Mr. Plasko.
The only thing we're really involved with is the pledge of the license. but just to make sure when I was reading this, I didn't misunderstand anything. This is a pledge for the license and the inventory?
Correct, yes. Yep. Yeah, I mean, generally, if they're gonna act on a pledge of a license, most of the inventory is already gone at that point, so it's generally not too relevant, but that is the request of the, before the board.
Any other questions? I also have none. It seems straightforward, but given that it's a public hearing, at this time I'll open it up to public comments. If there's anyone that is interested in speaking on this matter, please make yourself known and the chair will recognize you. Seeing none.
Motion to close the hearing?
Motion made by Mr. Plasko to close the public hearing and seconded by Mr. Lane. All in favor of closing the hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. And then pleasure of the board on the main item here.
Motion to approve the pledges applied for?
Right. Motion to approve made by Mr. Plasko, seconded by Mr. Sad. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous.
All right, well, great night, appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Let's see, so we got another 10 minutes unless Mr. Ryan is already here, or would we rather
I think
switch
he's
back?
ready to go.
Yeah.
He is, you wanna
I
bring
hate
him in a
keeping
little
people
early?
late if we don't
Yeah.
have to.
Tee him
So,
up.
Mr. Ryan, please come in.
Heat it up, Mark. Whoa.
Welcome back. As usual, I'll have you reintroduce yourself for the benefit of the public record.
Absolutely. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Mark Ryan, Director of Public Works and Town Engineer, here to give you an update with the ongoings with Public Works and the Engineering Department. You have my monthly report in front of you. I'll just highlight some of the things I think need to be mentioned, and obviously any questions, I'd love to try to answer them. The paving project is moving along well. Pawtucket Paving has done 22 out of 32 streets. We're right now on 5 streets in addition to those 22, so in a couple of weeks we'll have those accomplished as well. So that's moving along well. Daniels Asphalt has been doing the work at the Savage Center. They reconstructed the parking lot. That's all paved and striped, and all the looming and seeding has been done. The pickleball courts and basketball court has been done. The pickleball courts are in use. They have been painted and striped. We had to wait a little bit on the basketball courts to be striped, so they'll be actually painted tomorrow and striped tomorrow. So unfortunately, the pickleball courts are open for a few days, and they're gonna have to be closed tomorrow, just so people aren't running back and forth on the adjacent basketball court and track and paint all around. Once that's all set, the contractor will move on to the Coakley tennis courts and reconstruct those. The Upland Road, Prospect Street Signal Project, Mass DOT project, is moving along. They spent quite a bit of time through the winter and spring constructing a wall on the westerly side of 1A. That was to allow the widening of the intersection. They've done that work, and they've widened the pavement there. They replaced a 24-inch drain. Actually, it was twin 24-inch drains of the towns at no cost to the town, which was very advantageous. So that work has been done. The gas company's been working, replacing their gas main up there. So it's a nice new system there with services. And the town had already had the water main replaced there by the contractor, so all the utilities there are in good shape. The work will continue till closure of this construction season sometime in November. You'll have the first 2 coat of asphalts down, some granite curbing in, and the sidewalks may have started by then, but anyways, the project will start up again in the spring. It'll be completed mid-construction season next year, so that project will be completed this time next year, so that's a welcome sign. Washington Street and Manhattan Street traffic signals is moving along slowly. Their focus has been installing the mast arm foundations, which are large diameter foundations, anywhere from 24 to 42 inches in diameter and anywhere from 10 to 13 feet deep. So that's been moving along, and they have 21 out of the 28 mast arms and foundations installed. In October, we should see the mast arm come in, and we'll install those, so we won't be looking at construction barrels sitting over the foundations all winter. So the mast arms will go in, but they won't be utilized as signals just yet. The cleaning and lining project has been moving along very well. We did Railroad Ave from Prospect to Washington. That's been completed with water services. We're working down the Gay Street, West Border Road neighborhood, as well as the Shaw Street and Lenox Ave neighborhood. In both those neighborhoods, cleaning, lining the water main, and then replacing water services. So that's moving along. The water tank replacement, I've been working with the contractor on submittals, so that's a long, tedious process, but that's ongoing. Many of you might not know, there's actually a foundation from a third water tank up in that area, so that's the first order of business, and that will start in October with a demolition of that foundation, because once that foundation is removed, then they can start making preparations for the new water tank will go in that exact location. Cemeteries, moving along very well, mowing and trimming as usual, and maintaining the facility, and burials to date, 144 burials to date. 88 of those are full burials and 56 are cremations. And over the years, you've seen the slow tick to seeing more and more cremations, where it used to be 10%, maybe 15. It's creeped up to now we're at close to 40%. So that's going along well. Old Parish Cemetery, we're benefit of a CPA grant. We replaced the fencing. We put up a 6-foot ornamental black steel fence around the perimeter. We've designed the entrances. The bids open this coming Thursday for the new entrances, and that'll be a real bonus to that facility. Credit to Patty Fanning and her group for spearheading this and really bringing that to recognition, because it is a real great asset up there. Parks and Highway has been very busy, as all the departments are. Just had Norway Day, and they were very active in getting that prepped and then cleaned up afterwards. Credit to them, and credit to Sam White and the Norway Day group. Norway Day group for all the hard efforts. Everything went well as far as we can tell. Highway and Parks were supervising the roadway pavement markings project, crosswalks, center lines, fog lines, parking lines. Roadway crack sealing has been completed. We're going to start some trench repaving on University Ave and Wilson Street in the coming days. Actively maintaining the ball fields, aerating, fertilizing, seeding, getting them ready for the fall season. And so that's going along well. Hazardous Waste Day, the next one scheduled is September 27th. We're actually working down the Willett Ball Field, installing a storage shed down there. So that we're actually going to be pouring the concrete tomorrow down there for that storage shed. The Washington Street Bridge over the Hawes Brook, that's been 100% design, and we did go out to bid, and we didn't get very favorable bids, and plus it was conflicting with the Hawes Pool project, so we elected to just take a step back. So we'll put that out to bid this winter, and that'll be a spring project. Westover Parkway Bridge replacement, that's ongoing. The culverts are all installed. The head walls are in. This Friday, they're going to be looking to start activating the stream through that culvert there. They have a temporary structure up there to handle the flows of Germany Brook. It's moving along well. We figure a mid-October completion date on that project. We've been watching the traffic for the school now that they're open. A little hectic in there, but I think we've got things under control to try to manage all the drop-offs and the buses coming in. So we're working on that. The Meadowbrook Drain Project, that's been ongoing. As you remember, probably back in March, we had to go in there for a little bit, cut down some trees before bats actually would come in and nest in these trees. So that was taken care of. We put things on hold till the drier season. They came in, did their work in the channel, clearing out, fallen debris from trees and stumps and just washouts over the years, so that has improved the channel flow. They're on hold right now. They're waiting for a couple drainage structures to be delivered, and we expect them next week, so we can start on that and get that work completed. The I&I, that's infiltration inflow into the sewer system. It's been an ongoing issue in town. We've designed the project with CDM Smith. We had a project meeting the other day where we're probably going to go out to bid now. We're hoping to go out to bid now, but I think we're going to wait for a spring construction, because some things we want to take a long, harder look at on how to approach it, but we're very close to getting that 100% designed. Water service inventory, as you know, the EPA is requiring all water suppliers throughout the country to identify water service material type. We're actively doing that. We spent a lot of time sending out cards to residents asking to try to identify the pipe coming in. If they couldn't, we'd come out and take a look for them. There's a lot of unknowns out there. We have to get those known and finalized, to satisfy the EPA requirements. So that's ongoing. It's a very tedious project. The water and sewer department is very active with the cleaning and lining, working with Geoso down on the Mass DOT project, 1A in Prospect Street, performing flow tests, plug sewers, cleaning drain lines, catch basins, and considerable amount of time is spent on dig safe. Dig safe, as you know, is required anytime contractor, homeowner, or anyone is gonna dig. The sewer and water department have to go out there and mark things, so that's quite a bit of time is spent on that. In the engineering department, they've done great work this summer. They designed the projects, and they've been supervising and managing the paving project, the project up at the Savage Center, traffic signal project, and the Westover Parkway Bridge, as well as designing the Old Parish entrances, working with a consultant on stormwater regulations, and they worked on obtaining a grant from Mass DOT for a rapid rectangular flashing beacon, which we'll put on Dean Street at Richland Road. So they've been very busy, and they also working with the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee. So they're very busy over there, and shout out to them for doing a fabulous job. And with that, Madam Chair, answer any questions.
Excellent. All right, well, let me start on my right. If anybody has questions
I have a
for
few,
Mr.
Mark.
tonight?
A lot on your agenda, that's good.
Yeah.
Mark, quick question, the pool, that pile of dirt on the front of the pool, when's that getting removed?
That's a great question, Mr. Sad. I'm not actively involved with the pool. I
Oh.
can find that out.
Yeah, it's part of the process. The goal is to have it removed this fall.
Oh, good, okay. Secondly,
Should be done soon,
yeah, the,
now the pool's closed.
in front of the storm drain, Mark, in front of, I got a call from one of the residents, Stash's Pizza on
Mhm.
Dean Street.
Sure.
Then the Brookside Cafe and the Women's Community Committee at the corner of Wooler and Washington. If they could just check those catch basins, that would be great. You
Absolutely.
keep up the great job.
Oh, thank you.
That's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Plasko, anything for
Thank
tonight?
you. I actually have a few too. Been a while since we've seen this. Before I start with the questions I wrote down, though, you mentioned 1A Upland Prospect intersection.
Mhm.
So the public understands, that already some people asking, why does it take so long? That actually to accomplish from concept to getting a project done. I remember bringing up that we should be doing something with that intersection, and Mr. Carroll saying, yes, he and Mr. Ryan have already been talking about that and exploring that. How many years? You know when that start point was?
2008.
2008,
Yeah.
and we're just there now. So there's a lot of things that take a lot of work and a lot of time, and I just want people to hear that and realize things don't just happen. How do I want to say that? What's the word I want?
Mysterious.
Yeah, mysteriously. There's a lot of work goes into this.
It is very involved, especially it's federally funded, so, I mean, it's a $9 million project. The town doesn't pay anything for it. So, to get those funds, there's only a certain amount of funds at the state, for these projects, and you gotta wait your turn, so that holds it back too. But it is a long process.
Yeah.
And we're going through the same thing, University Ave and Route 1. You and former Selectman Gary Lee were big proponents of getting that intersection fixed, and we're probably a couple of years away from that, and that started in 2008 as well. So
Yeah.
that's a $26 million project. So it takes time,
Sure.
but it's fortunate the town's not funding it. We just have to bear the brunt of the work.
All right, the first thing I wrote down that I wanted to ask you about, the Old Parish gates, so thank you for bringing that up. I've asked a couple of times, they keep saying they're coming, I was gonna ask, when are they coming? Now we have the answer. Thank you. Whatever happened, didn't we talk about doing a survey, a study for some new lining of the street for traffic signals, if you will, at Route 1A and Big Y?
Oh, I brought that up.
Did we go forward with that, or did we just talk about that?
No, I thought there was an allocation of 10,000 for
For a
a
study.
traffic study for the state.
I would love to get my hands on that money, because that's what we have to do. We have to hire our traffic consultant to do that. You know,
Yeah,
to
what
determine.
happened
I
to
thought I
that?
saw it was in the agenda, we approved that.
I vaguely remember the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
make sure if that's.
because there
there,
was some
we'll make sure we
discussion
got
whether
it.
we needed the 10,000, why could we do the survey ourselves, or use the Norfolk County, or blah, blah, and we decided, yeah, we'll support the study.
Yeah.
You know?
Good memory.
That is a
Bring that up.
state-controlled intersection,
Yes.
so you have to get their blessing on the final
Even if we
outcome.
change just the white lines, and it's their road, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We can look into that, maybe, Mr. Manager, see if we can track that down. Bell number 7, you involved in that at all? Wasn't that supposed to be gonna move and put it up here? Were you involved in that since it's gonna go into our pocket park?
The fire bell, yes.
Yes.
Yes, yep, I'm involved. I work with Kristen Phelps on that, so we've met out there. We're gonna be removing a bench, one of the benches
Yeah.
there.
Do we have an
pouring it.
idea when that's happening? We talked about that some time ago.
Yeah, so we're gonna be pouring the concrete pad soon, because the actual granite base is gonna be delivered.
Oh, okay.
Kristen has ordered the base, so that'll be delivered. The actual bell, I don't know that, Mr. Plasko, on the status on that, but we're gonna have everything ready for them.
Yeah, you're basically getting it prepped for
Correct,
the other folks who are handling the project.
right,
Okay.
right.
This isn't directly to you, but I know in the end, if not already, you're gonna be involved, so maybe it's to the manager while you're here. In front of the middle school, new middle school, we have 2 temporary parking areas. I don't know that we've taken any formal action, but I think most people, maybe hope I'm not speaking out of tune here, out of school here, that probably the best and highest use for those is parking.
At least one of them for sure.
So when are we gonna have some plans for what we do? I know the one that's in front of the tennis courts, we're gonna redo the tennis courts and I'd like to see the plans on that, if there's anything other than just the 100% redo what's there. But we want, that's gonna serve the tennis courts, additional for, well, the school and the other playing fields behind. And of course, we wanna tie it in the best we can, so people feel welcome to use it for the pool, in my opinion. Are we started any of that?
We're, other than, have we done anything beyond schematic design? I know we were handling it, the design in-house. The middle school building committee had considered, they may end up paying for the project, but having the school project engineers take care of it, and the costs were just ridiculous. So Mark's team's able to do it in-house, but how far have we progressed?
So we've done the survey work, we've started design, and then summer came with construction, but it wouldn't take much to complete the design. As construction slows down, we can work on that.
So if the school funding, did I just hear you say they're not gonna pay for it?
No, we didn't want to use the project.
Oh, for the
engineer-
design
For the
phase.
design, yeah, the cost for designing them came in at something like $100,000, and we just said, this is, it's 2 parking lots, it's not that complicated, engineering can
Well,
handle
you're
it,
probably
save
gonna,
the money.
probably gonna talk to them down the road, because it's their money involved and everything, they wanna see what they're paying for, but it's also our property,
Correct.
you know, under our jurisdiction, so I'd like to see something as well. So, that's the parking lot, tennis courts. I think I'm done, thank you very kindly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Plasko. Mr. Lane, do you have anything for Mr. Ryan tonight?
Thank you for being here, Mr. Ryan, we appreciate the update. Just while you're here, and we're gonna hit this up later and talk about the capital improvement plan. If you just wanted to talk about, I think it's truck 47 is the one that's on, to be replaced. It seems like we got a pretty good use out of that. That's a 2007 truck, so the fact that it lasted almost 20 years, I would imagine is pretty good.
That's very good. I mean, prior to the new facility over there, Mr. Lane, I mean, we were getting 12, 13, maybe 14 years out of a vehicle, because vehicles were left outside. The
Yeah.
vehicle maintenance was really non-existent as far as a facility, and that's gone a long way to extending the life. Having a wash bay over there, I think that's paid off when it comes to vehicles in
Yeah.
a major way, yes.
That's great. It's great to
Yeah.
see, so, just wanted to point that out. But, yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Welcome.
Thank you. And then for my part, one of the questions I had, you mentioned in the tricolor bat earlier over at Meadowbrook. Do we have any other flora and fauna that we're concerned about when we're doing work up in Meadowbrook, like salamanders or anything?
No, the Meadowbrook, no. And it wasn't a very involved project as far as digging or anything. It was very minor. You know, when they did the channel downstream of it, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers did it. I mean, they dug it out, you know, and it's armored side banks and everything, very invasive work. This was very benign as far as the amount of work there. It's really, if you went there when they're gone, if you walk down there, you would say, well, looks nice. It's nice brook, you know, looks natural. But all the debris out of there, you know, and all the obstructions that, you know, over the time that has accumulated, that's out of there. And the whole purpose was to improve the flow characteristics of the channel, and that will be accomplished. But there were no other species that we were concerned with. We don't want invasive, as far as the permit goes, when they reseed and everything, you gotta watch out for invasive vegetation that might grow. So it's a 3-year period where you gotta come back, and if I identify any invasive species growing, as far as vegetation, you gotta remove it and replant it, but nothing else other than that.
Great, awesome.
Thank you. Mr. Lane made me think of a question I had, and I'm not sure, it's actually recreation, and it might be facilities, but in case DPW is involved, ask it while Mr. Ryan's here. The proposal for renovations, the outdoor bathroom at the Lower Bulge, where's the estimate come from, the 300,000? Is that made up? Is there some preliminary work done?
Some very, very preliminary work was done on that, to get the estimate.
Okay. Because I know one of the things in the past we've hammered at is that we haven't always had the best estimates, and I want to make sure we've done a close look that this is enough. We always hate having to go back, and we want the true number to be known up front. Thank you.
Mr. Manager.
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I could, while Mark is here, Mark, would you mind just taking the board through what our process is for cleaning drains, how often we get drains cleaned, and in the event somebody thinks they have a clogged drain, what they should do?
Yeah, so the sewer.
Storm drains, I should say.
Yeah, the sewer and drain department is, there are 4 individuals there. And their job on a daily basis is making sure that the sewer mains are clean, so they're out there flushing sewer mains. So, because there's a lot of sewer mains that are on dead ends, that have a flat slope and are known to not flow very well, so we just a regular cycle of flushing them. So they're out there on a daily basis doing that. At any given moment, they'll get a call for a plug sewer service, and they have to drop what they're doing and go do that. They have to spend a lot of time marking out utilities, sewer and drain, like I said, for all the dig safe. So those 4 people are doing quite a bit of work on a day-to-day basis. And they also are flushing drain mains and catch basins. They're cleaning catch basins. And we would love to have a crew that just dedicated catch basin cleaning. We don't, but we spend quite a bit of time cleaning catch basins. We try to get to clean a catch basin every 3 years. We try to get cleaning catch basins that we know are problematic areas, basically low areas, at least once a year, if not more. Especially when we know certain events are coming up, we know those low areas, and we want to make sure those catch basins are clean and can take the water. So we're out there quite a bit doing catch basin cleaning, but they're doing a bunch of other things too, so we can't dedicate all our time there. There are 2,500 catch basins out there. But we try, and we try very hard. But you know, like we tell people, if they see something, a catch basin that's full, and we haven't got it, you know, it's just a matter of a phone call, and we're out there, if not that day, the next day. So It's ongoing process. One of the best things we did is stop sanding roads, because that used to fill up the catch basins a lot quicker, plus cause health hazards with dust and everything. So they're not filling up as quick, but they do fill up, especially the ones in low areas.
And for reporting on those individual ones, they can also use the online ticketing system to make those requests as well, right?
Correct,
Which
yes.
I've used that before for other purposes. It works really great, so
Yeah, no, absolutely.
excellent.
And then just two other more points of information while we have Mr. Ryan here. After we had some water this past weekend, this small storm, you'll notice the downtown lights stopped working. And last year when we put that project forward, there was still some concern about, do we really need to do this project? The rain shuts down our traffic system.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the last system where that's the case, but once we have a new system in place, hopefully it will stop going down just because it got wet. And then just one point of interesting historic information, Mr. Ryan brought up the water tanks. The 1938 water tank project was a Works Progress Administration project, so I don't know who our grant writer or federal liaison was in the 30s, but we were able to get a lot of money. We still have sidewalks that were WPA projects from the 30s, which is both interesting from a historic standpoint, but also points out the fact that we are still using infrastructure constructed in the Depression. Built well, but still using it.
Yeah.
And Mark's team does a bang-up job keeping it together.
Absolutely. Well, excellent. Well, I believe that is everything we have for you tonight, and we can let you go.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for coming to
Thanks,
see
Mark.
us.
Appreciate it.
See you soon.
Yeah.
All right, and then our next appointment would be 7:15. If the chiefs are out, though, we'll go
I
ahead
believe
and
they
show
are.
them
Let's see if
in.
I can grab them.
Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for coming to see us. We're doing all right. How about you all?
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming to see us. We have both of our public safety chiefs here. Who would like to go first tonight? We'll have you introduce yourself for the benefit of the public record, like usual. Thank you, Chief.
Good evening, Tim Bailey, Fire Chief. Last time I was here was on June 10th. Our call volume to date is 5,025. We're approximately one call above where we were last year every day, so our call volume is still increasing. And that's been the trend for the last 2 years, since '23, since I actually arrived here. It's gone up from 18.5 per day to 20.5 per day. Our fire prevention is doing an excellent job. They have 4,306 entries up to this point of inspections that they've done this year and follow-ups. Total calls for service, 9,331 since January 1. Mutual aid continues to be an issue with us. We've had 634 mutual aid calls since the beginning of the year. 167 that we've given. We've received 467, with the majority of those being ambulances. Personnel, we had 2 resignations since June. We've also begun the process for hiring the second deputy chief, which has been vacant since I arrived. We're moving forward with that, and we've had the assessment, and we're continuing forward with that. Training, we've done a lot of EMS training over the summer, especially with our refresher, and monthly fire training continues. We have different evolutions that we do every month, and that continues. They have the whole month in order to do them. Apparatus, as far as capital goes, Ladder 1 and the ambulance are on the capital for this coming year. Been through the process with 2 meetings so far, and that's been positive to this point. Engine 3, which was ordered a year ago, November, from the last town meeting. Positive note on that is originally they had told us that it wouldn't be in until January of '28. Right now, it's in the queue to be May of 2027, so that's a little bit of a positive note. HREC, the build-out continues. We've actually been adding sites, and we've got 2 sites on 2 different private buildings for radio equipment that have been approved in the last month, and those will be being put in the next week or 2. We participated in NOAA Day. I'd like to give a special shout out to Mary Ann, Captain Jeff Campilio, and Paul Ronco. They really were instrumental in putting together all of the elements that we had there, and it was very nicely done. Our open house will be on October 4th, 2025. That'll be from 10 to 2, and that is tentative at this point, and I will leave you with our apparatus floor is being worked on.
Yeah.
And that is why all of our apparatus is currently outside, and it will remain outside until the project is done. The project has been very slow. Originally, it was supposed to be 3 days and a total of 6 days. 3 days for refinishing and then 3 days for coating. We're already into the second week. We'll probably be into the third week of just the prep work, and I'm hopeful that they can even get it done in that amount of time. So we're struggling with that a little bit because the weather and some of the other issues that go with that. But we're pushing forward. We're working very closely with facilities to make it happen. So it remains to be a work in progress.
Great. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and have the board field some questions for you before we move to Chief Padden. So if I have, start with maybe Mr. Lane first.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Chief. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
As usual, very busy, a lot going on. So, yeah, just keep up the great work and definitely lean on us if you need anything. For the open house, if we couldn't do it at the public safety building, is there a safe alternate site? Just probably not,
So
right?
what we'll do is we'll evaluate where we are. So we're gonna give it another week or two
Yeah.
before we make a final determination. Right now, it's on the 4th. If that doesn't work, we'll push it
Good.
towards the end of, later in the month. So probably around the third week is what we're talking about as an alternative date, but I'll keep everyone informed as changes are made.
That's great. Thank you.
Great. We'll go to Mr. Plasko next. All set, all right, Mr. Sad?
Great job, great weekend, and maybe put some time contracts on these contractors. That would be a good thing, right, Mr. Manager?
Yeah, I mean, they have it, but when we have a contract that's not going according to plan, we have a couple of options. One of them is if they're past the completion date, we assess liquidated damages. That usually leads to litigation, which we're fine with, but at the end of the day, like any contractor, they kind of have you by the base of your throat because they're doing work in your building and you're sort of stuck with it. I haven't been particularly thrilled with a lot of the contractors we've hired in the last couple of years. I think it's a run on the end of the economy, but we also are stuck by public bid laws and public construction laws, which I think hamstring us more than the benefit to being through an open bid process.
And then you mentioned like weather seems to be the primary impediment with the progress.
Yeah, so with our vehicles being outside, so because they have water in them, we're starting to get into the colder weather. It was into the 40s last night. They can't freeze, so
Yeah.
we're keeping a close eye on it. So just the grinding and the prep portion is still a ways off. And then we have to do the finishing portion of it, which is putting the new epoxy down. And that takes several days as well. So we're up against some weather issues. And hopefully it stays like it's been and we get through it, but we're keeping an eye on it.
Does it add days to actually move in after the epoxy?
It does. We have to wait 48 hours after
Oh,
the
that's
final
all.
coat.
It's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all. All right, well, that was the only thing I had. Well, obviously, there's a lot of stress from having to do all the extra runs, and, you know, we're weathering as the best we can, so really appreciate all the team's work everybody's doing. Is an excellent job given our circumstances.
Thank you. They do an excellent job.
Absolutely. Well, we'll go ahead and move to Chief Padden on the police side.
Good
Thanks for
evening,
coming in.
everybody. Like Tim said, we haven't been here since June, so I'm just going to kind of give you a rundown of some of the things that we've had going on, the bigger things. June 24th to the 26th, we had our assessment for reaccreditation to have the police department reaccreditation through the state of Massachusetts. We passed with flying colors. This is, I think, our third or fourth, so it's every 3 years. So we've been, I did it as a sergeant, and now Lieutenant Lyden and Lieutenant Benton picked it up, and they ran us through again. So it's great. It just means that we've met the kind of the standard across the board that are expected of law enforcement agencies. July 4th parade, obviously another huge success. I just want to thank DPW. We have been increasing security on all of our parades and events just to make sure that we don't have any vehicle incursion, and they've been great to work with. They really stepped up this year, putting trucks and barriers out that we requested so that we didn't have anything. In years past, we used to have sawhorses or, you know, barrels that somebody could have pushed through.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it so that you can't have that happen ever. We had 2 weeks of the Youth Academy, the last week of July and the first week of August. We ran 82 kids through, all 8th graders. It's a great opportunity for the officers to get to know the kids, and we really get a ton of positive feedback with those interactions over that 2 weeks. The parents all rave about how the kids come home and they're exhausted and they had a great time and they want to go back the following year. So very good. Myself and Deputy Chief Flanagan have met with a lot of the large apartment complexes. The management's there to talk about various issues that we've been having with some of them, and to encourage them to put camera systems in and security systems in to help us when they have problems. And we've had a lot of positive feedback there and had a lot of good progress in that situation. We worked with the Norwood schools to help get the Coakley security plan in place for the first day of school. It's a new school, new building, new security plan. So great opportunity, great building, worked with the fire a lot, everybody's great teamwork. So hosted National Night Out on the Common. I want to thank Express Pizza, Domino's, Bruno's, Orange Leaf, and all the citizens who donated to the Police Association so that we could do it. We gave out 400 hot dogs, 800 slices of pizza, had a great time connecting with the public, another great opportunity for the police to connect with people in a non-law enforcement way. A lot of requests for members of the Board of Selectmen to get into the dunk tank, so next year I hope that I can get somebody from the board onto the dunk tank. We'll see. Maybe Mr. Mizuko, or maybe you could have Mr. Mizuko as part of his next contract be obligated to work with the dunk tank. Met with the school leadership to start off the school year, so with the superintendent and the principals, myself and Deputy Chief Flanagan, and some of our SROs and SLOs. I just want to thank Superintendent Luff. He is the third superintendent that I've worked with since I've been doing school security, and I've kind of pushed that down the chain, but I started a lot of the school liaison program, and Tim is one of the most amiable to work with. We have a great relationship with the schools, and I just want to, call out to him because he's done a great job, at least with us. So as far as police work, the department has taken on a very proactive approach to law enforcement. Since I've taken over, I really have kind of pushed more patrol and have our patrol officers out there, doing and addressing the things that affect people within the community, speeding complaints, things like that. So as of the end of August, we have a total of 6,387 motor vehicle stops, about 50-50 between citations and warnings. This is addressing places where we have motor vehicle accidents and where people complain about speeding. We're always out there, and hopefully we're changing the public's perception. 316 arrests, 858 criminal complaints, 621 motor vehicle accidents that we've responded to, and a total up to the end of August year to date, 28,568 calls for service, which is about 4.9 calls per hour throughout the year. I mean, we're busy and it never stops. And that's just like basic math. Some of these calls take 2 hours, some of them take 5 minutes. So it's really kind of hard to break it down per call. But, we're well-staffed and well-funded at this time, so we're able to handle that volume, and I want to thank you for that. We've had some high-interest cases these past few months. We had an armed robbery at Windsor Gardens where the officers were able to locate a suspect. We secured the home. We did a search warrant on the home, and we were able to recover some high-capacity firearms magazines from a juvenile that was involved, and we charged him. So we've had a lot of success when we have crime, making sure that the officers are really working together. Our detectives and our patrol officers have done a great job. We had 6 women that were part of a multi-state crime ring. I'm sure you saw that on Facebook. Led to a police chase. They were all taken into custody. Our officers worked as a team. We had some mutual aid come in from Walpole. We got all 6 of them. And afterwards, we just got inundated with cases from all over, wanting people's photos. This crew was all over from Maryland up to Massachusetts. So that was a nice, taking them off the board was nice. Routine patrol stops. We had one recently, Officer de Blasi, one of our new officers, just on a routine patrol stop for a motor vehicle. The person fled. Got up to 100 miles an hour. Our officer did not, but that was the estimate. A sharp-eyed citizen saw him throwing drugs out the window. We recovered the drugs. Officer de Blasi and the detectives were able to locate him. We took him into custody with a search warrant on his home. So he did not get away. We charged him with the trafficking. It was good police work, really solid. Yesterday, we took one person into custody for threatening somebody with a gun a few weeks ago, another juvenile, and that same day we executed a search warrant on the home, and we recovered an illegal firearm in possession of another juvenile that had the serial numbers obscured. So the officers really did a good job. They pinned everybody down. They were really able to close these calls out. So when we have these kinds of things happen, and they happen, we're not letting them go. We're on them, and we're really trying to make sure that they get taken care of. So I just want to thank the officers over the course of the summer for all their hard work, their community policing, as well as their work doing real, trying to fight crime. So, we're trying to be proactive, and we're trying to stay on top of this. So we think that's the best way to keep Norwood safe.
Excellent. I will start now with questions from the board. I'll start on my left again with Mr. Lane.
Yeah, no questions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the updates, and we appreciate all the work that you do. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Plasko?
Big ditto.
And Mr. Sad?
I gotta ask the chief a question. Hi,
Yes.
chief. How's
Hi.
your golf game?
Terrible. I'm a crappy golfer.
I know. I got a couple of calls yesterday and today about, we had an incident I'll talk to you where location it is tomorrow, about these Hondas racing up and down the roads
Okay.
at the railroad crossing, but there was a group of them, and I'll call you tomorrow where it's coming out of.
Okay.
And we should probably talk to that business, just so if the residents are watching us, they know they brought it up, and they're pretty nervous about these people flying around the roads.
And they should be. These are the kind of quality of life issues that we can address by
Yeah.
when, extra enforcement and things along those lines. And people shouldn't have to put up with, those little cars with the very loud mufflers and drives people crazy. So
Yeah.
we can address it.
Keep up the great work, you and your team, both of yous, and I appreciate it. I thank you from our side of the aisle, and if anything we can do for you, just let us know.
You guys have been great. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
on the topic of the traffic, one of the things I've been trying to keep an eye out for is, as we sort of see, those years of the pandemic where everyone was sort of locked inside, and now some of the younger people that are now, you're back out in the world, maybe you didn't necessarily get your driver's education and etiquette properly, and so I've noticed, no one specific, but I've been sort of seeing people being a little driving for fun, like as a game, and sometimes being a little too dangerous with that. So I'm hoping that we're not seeing, a general increase in, traffic-related hazards or incidents because of that.
I think we've been pretty steady, and we try and we have some hot spots in town, the Rotary, those kinds of accidents are fairly standard, but when we're seeing speeding and behavior that's inappropriate, we try and get on it, because the speed does lead to accidents, and those are the kinds of things that can, unfortunately, distracted driving is another big one.
Yeah.
People on their phones, if there's one thing they can do is stay off your phone. We see it all the time. That's been our, kind of a point of emphasis for enforcement. We'll have an officer, you see somebody talking on the phone, it's hands-free law now.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to stay after that. That is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And then trends-wise, when you think of sort of the aggregate of everything that's been coming through, we know overall volume's up for both fire and for police side. Has it been sort of status quo on the types of calls? It's like, yes, it's the same types of things, just more of it, or have you noticed any new trends?
Yeah, so things are cyclical for police. I mean, sometimes we'll run through, a series of we'll have bigger crime, right? And, we'll have a robbery or, and then we'll go for a long period of time without it. It's not, there's nothing indicative of Norwood going in one direction or another. It's just a matter of every so often we'll run through a stretch. Same thing with juveniles. Juvenile crime is for sure. Sometimes we'll get a group and they'll be really responsible for a lot of different things, and we're dealing with that right now. And we've been able to take a few of them off the board, as far as put them, charge them with crimes and things that we had that we know that they did. We just couldn't prove it. So we've been running into a little bit of that, but the officers are all over it.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you both for coming in to
Thank
see
you.
us
Thank you.
tonight. We always appreciate your updates.
Thanks. Have a great night.
Thanks,
Take
chief.
care. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, our next appointment would be with Mr. Alan Slater, which I believe I saw him out in the hallway.
He's here.
Come on in. Welcome. Thank you for coming in to see us tonight.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Mizuko, members of the board. On behalf of the Middle School Building Committee, thank you for having me today.
Excellent. Well, we figured this would be a good opportunity to get some, I know we're basically in the home stretch of the last, last I's to dot and T's to cross, and you're hoping to get an update, and then we'll have another item after that.
Will do, thank you. Just a little perspective on the building. The public-facing facilities are out front. The classrooms are in the back. The area right in the middle that's bordered by the blue is the media center. To the right of that is the auditorium, and to the left of that, to the right of that is the gymnasium, and to the left is the auditorium. Next slide, please. This is what the site looked like before we did anything with it. Again, the old school, the field in the back. And if you go to the next slide, same perspective, this is what we have now. New building, this is about a month ago this photo was taken. The building is essentially complete. They were at the time doing a lot of exterior work, including some of the roadway work. The big pile of dirt with all the construction vehicles you see in the front is where the old building was located, which had subsequently been torn down at the end of June, most of July, and that's where the new turf field will be going, which should be completed in a couple of months. Next slide, please. So here we were at the ribbon cutting on August 25th. It was a great day. Middle School Building Committee did what it was asked to do. It brought the project in on time and well under budget, and everything, I think, has been going well. Next slide, please. This is the gymnasium. We were able to convince MSBA to give us a gymnasium and a half, which is great. It gives the department in the school the ability to do many more things and run many more different programs because they have all that extra capacity and space. So next slide, please. The media center. Again, everything is state of the art. We always, my generation, we knew media centers by the term library. This is a library. It also includes an area for computer work, and it also includes an area right in back of where that the blue librarian's desk is. It includes the broadcast studio. The broadcast studio is using equipment. Some of it is used equipment from the high school. Some of it is equipment which has been purchased by NCM. And I got to tell you, I've been there, and they have better equipment there than most high schools have in their TV program. And what everybody wants to have happen is that the middle school is used as sort of a feeder group for the high school program, which, as you all know, has been very successful. Next slide, please. I think everybody looking at the building is going to know, whose building it is. The one in the middle, obviously, is the admin, and it's, again, just a matter of showing Mustang and town pride. Next slide, please. Just a couple of examples of classrooms. I mean, different classrooms are set up depending upon the particular course, but, furniture purchase went well. Everything was there when it should have been. We're still working with the principal. Because, once you're there, it's maybe I need this, maybe I need that. So there may be a few other purchases we have to make, but most everything, has already been done. Next slide, please. An example of one of the specialty classrooms. This is an art classroom. Right next door is the kiln that also will be used by people. And again, this is really state of the art. And one of the bigger classrooms there. Next slide, please. Auditorium. We felt very strongly that the facility should have an auditorium. This one is over 600 seats. It's set up for a number of things. Right now, I think you can see it's set up for band practice. They'll make quite a bit of use out of that. But hopefully, it also has the potential to be used for future town meetings. Again, it's a great facility, and I think people will love it when they see it. If you like what's in the high school, you're going to love what you see in this building. Next slide, please. But just a quick progress update. The building essentially is complete. You know, there's going to be, with any building, a few growing pains, but everything has been going well. Punch list is done. The teachers returned a couple weeks ago. First day of school was last week. The usual issues with any school on the first day, but you know, things went well. The concession stand is done and it's operational, which is well before it was scheduled to be. There's the turf field and the outdoor play space, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. That work is ongoing, and that's also scheduled to be completed by the end of October, again, ahead of schedule. And, you know, there's still work to be done, you know, landscaping and some of the exterior work. A lot of exterior work will be done, and that'll be finished by the spring of '26, with final closeout documentation, MSBA, in fall of '26, and that's a one-year process, essentially. So we don't expect to see a closeout until the fall of '27, basically 2 years from now. Next slide, please. You know, in 2022, you know, when we were still in the design phase, you know, we were in the middle of supply chain issues, and, you know, prices of materials were just out of sight. So we'd had to go through value engineering, and we took a lot of things out. And as we were into the project and the budget was going well, we decided to bring back some things that we had taken out initially from the project, one of which was an outdoor classroom and play area. And, you know, it's going to have an outdoor classroom, you know, I think you can see in front, you know, with special seating, a few game areas, but in particular, and this is going to get an awful lot of use, we are going to have a half-court basketball, which I know everybody in the neighborhood is going to love, hopefully. Most of the heavy work on this, it hasn't been completed yet, certainly, but most of the heavy work was done before school was opened, including excavation, bringing material off, as well as bringing other material in, and compaction. So that work was done, you know, so this isn't going to interfere with the kids. And now the area will be fenced off for them to do their finish work. So where do we stand with budget? Total project was $150 million, plus or minus. Committed to date, that's just what's been, you know, what we have for invoices, $137 million. Essentially, you know, people always ask me, well, in the end, what's this really going to mean? How's the budget going to look? And with the understanding that there's still some exterior work which has to be done all over, you know, the different areas of the project, and we still have some outstanding change orders. You know, and again, it's going to depend on what the actual MSBA payments are. They'll pay a maximum of $52 million. What they're going to pay, I guess, is dependent upon, you know, the certain things which they pay for and what they don't pay for. But the bottom line is that in the end, I expect a budget surplus in the range of $10 million. It's, you know, plus or minus. Hopefully it's more on the plus side than the minus side, but I think it will be. And following the closeout of the project, that money can be used for other capital projects in town with a similar useful life of the bonds. I mean, the bonds were 25 years so for the school, so if you have a capital project which can be used, you know, really at the pleasure of town meeting for what they want to do, you know, they can, you know, after a closeout, they can vote, you know, money. The minimum it has to go through town meeting. It may or may not have to go through the voters. We'll have to verify that. But, you know, they'll be able to spend it on other important capital projects in town. So With that, that finishes my presentation, and I'm available for questions.
Excellent. Well, before I turn things over to the rest of the board for questions, we wanted to take a moment to give you something special.
Well, thank you.
So we had considered doing this during the ribbon cutting, but we felt like we wanted the ribbon cutting to not have any disruptions. We knew that you were trying to make sure everything was running on time, on track, exactly like the rest of the project has been going. So we figured by having you in to see us tonight, we can focus on you for a moment.
Thank you.
And so what I have here is a declaration from the board, which I'll read some excerpts from for you, which is a letter of proclamation honoring Alan Slater, chair of the Coakley Middle School Building Committee. Whereas Mr. Alan Slater has served as chair of the Coakley Middle School Building Committee since its establishment in 2020. Whereas the new Coakley Middle School is the largest construction project in Norwood's history. And whereas Mr. Slater's contributions to the community include serving as chair of the school's Long-Range Facilities Planning Committee Task Force in 2017, and serving as a member of the School Facilities Task Force in 2008. And whereas, under Mr. Slater's leadership, these school building construction projects have produced state-of-the-art facilities within budgets and on schedules. And whereas Mr. Slater's contributions in these roles serve as a role model for civic engagement by citizens of Norwood. And so we prepared this for you and wanted to present it to you tonight. Thank you so much for your service to the town.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I appreciate this.
You gotta get next to
Take a good
Amanda.
photo.
No, photo op, sure.
You just make the if you. All right, smile. And hold on, gotta do portrait mode. Step back.
I got a photographer.
Thank you.
I really, this was unexpected. I thank you. I really do. I mean, this is great. You know, I had a great board to it, you know, who, quite frankly, I mean, their main responsibility was trying to make me look good, which was difficult for them to do sometimes, but they all did. And, you know, the middle school building committee was great, and all the people in town, you know, whether it was the police, the fire, the inspectional services, the finance department, you know. Again, if I could just maybe talk about a couple of people I think were really great. I mean, throughout the whole process, I mean, from the school department, it was always Tim Lupp and Margot Fresek. They were there all the time. And facilities department, you know, Paul Riccardi and Chris Folan, I mean, just yeoman work that they did. And again, I thank you. Again, this is a labor of love for me.
We're very grateful and we're so impressed. We've been so happy with the project.
Thank
so
you.
We just couldn't thank you enough.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Now, with that, any further questions, comments from the board? Start Mr. Stad.
Mr. Slater, great job. I know a little bit about building remodeling, but not as much as him, but it was a great job. I went in there, it's spectacular. First class, the people of Norwich should be proud of it. We're gonna have probably a $3 million change order. Is that what we're gonna be left with 10 million on the budget?
Around that, yeah.
Okay. And the other thing I had a thought was, are we gonna put, or you people gonna put, like, when you go in the civic and you go, the committee, I know Matt and Bob were on there with yourself and other people. Are you gonna put like a little plaque in the foyer of who was on the committee and the work that they did with the facilities and everybody else that you wanna put on there?
There's a plaque which went up at the front of the building. There also may be another plaque which will put on another public area, you know, which will list, you know, everyone who is involved at any point in the project. I've been working with Mr. Mizuko on that, and we
Good.
expect to do something.
And one more thought, because I know the work that Coakley did for the town of Norwood, and it was really evident on Jerry Keller's movie Saturday night, the Callahan, the Oldham, the Cleveland, the Junior High South. I'm not sure if you folks or Tony and Luff can get together and maybe get a hold of Cialetta, Yusevich, Picciarelli, and Camerata, and just think of the work and make a statement about Coakley, so the kids that go in there really realize the impact that Mr. Coakley had on the town of Norwood and the vision to buy the bird land from Bird up at where the school really sits right now at $750 an acre, and get it all in the school system, so I'm not sure if you could do that, but if you could, that would be a good touch for the Coakley family and his name and what he did for the community.
Okay,
That's it. Thank you. Great job. Congratulations. You should be proud of all the work you guys did up there.
thank you.
That's it, Madam Chairman.
And Mr. Plasko.
Mr. Slater, parking is a real problem.
Yep.
I didn't hear you mention, you said some work still remaining, football field, landscaping. Where beside, I guess, where the football field is in front of the school, where their offices are, their trailers, is that gonna be parking? What is that gonna be?
Are you referring to the
Construction trailers?
two lots that were taken over
No.
by the town?
No, where Rich is using offices,
Okay.
that right now it's just dirt.
By the Lily Fields.
And is that gonna be grass, or are we gonna actually make use of that and have a couple of parking spaces, some parking spaces in that? Sounds like the plans are not to put
I don't think those areas are gonna be used for parking. I know we're working, something that the town may do outside of the contractors, is that we, may take at least one of those lots, that we took, that we bought out, and using that for additional parking. I mean, because parking is a concern.
The bang wall in the back, the old track area,
Yep.
half of that was used for storage by the contractor. And everything's been removed now, but it's a mess. Typically, when we have construction work done, when we disturb an area, we have it, make sure that in the contract that they have to return it to its condition. It wasn't that great a condition, but it was better than it is now. And usually we get lucky in the condition they put it back in is better than it was. But it certainly should be worked on beyond the state it is in today, in my opinion. I'd like somebody to look at that and see if we can get something done
Okay,
there.
again, what area is this again?
We call it the bang wall. The
Oh,
old-
sure, yeah.
The old track back there,
Yeah,
in the very back.
okay.
Besides that, I would just add my voice to the whole boards as a thank you for your time and effort. All the boards in town, when we agree with them, we disagree with them, whatever, we always appreciate the time they put in. And we know in this special project like this, that you really took it to heart, worked hard on it, and spent a lot of hours, and thank you for the effort.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Slater, for all the work that you've done. I think I met you first on this middle school building committee in 2020 when we were looking at other middle schools before I was on this board. And it feels like a long time ago, but it really kind of doesn't. But you did a great job. You had great insight. I even remember, speaking of the gym that you were talking about, we were talking to people at schools that had been built recently, and one of the things they said was, if you can do a gym and a half, do it, because so I think you had a really keen sense of picking up those things, making sure that message was heard, which was really valuable and has resulted in this great school. Both my kids have been there for a week in 6th and 8th grade, and they think it's just the best. And so again, thank you for your time. And what are you going to do now? You're going to have all this extra time.
Well, I mean, Mr. Mizuko is going to have to find something for me to do, so it's not as much that you find something for me to do as my wife wants something for me to do.
That's a good point.
I mean, which is the most important thing, so.
For sure, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, we looked at this as a 50-year building, when everything is said and done, Again, it was sort of like, the high school, as Bob Thornton always used to say, nothing more, nothing less. It was the same principle we used.
Yeah, I was there today actually, and it just feels great. And I saw Dr. Frazek. She said she'll have some stuff to talk about at our meeting on Monday.
Yeah,
So
well, a few things, yeah.
yeah, but seems great.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. And overall, my hope is that the students in the town, when they go into the new building, that they really feel that the community, through this effort of bringing this project forward, that they can tell the community really cares about their experience and their education and how they're being taken care of and treated, and that they feel respected. And that makes a big difference for a young person to know that the adults in their world, which for them, it's us, it's Norwood, that we care about what happens to them. So
No, I
all
mean,
of this work is really, really appreciated.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Again, you know, when we started the project, we always thought the problems were going to be the old elementary schools, but it became very apparent that this was the building that needed the work, and everybody, you know, a lot of people in town, you know, worked to get to this point. And I mean, again, I thank you for the praise or whatever, but I mean, there's a lot of people who did a lot of work here too, so
Absolutely,
we have to thank them too.
absolutely. Well, thank you for coming in to see us tonight. Thank you for the update.
Thank
We
you.
always appreciate it. And again, congratulations and thank you so much for you and all the community for all your hard work.
No, again, thank you again, again, most appreciated. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Let's see, to my recollection, we left off with
No,
three
what's-
point
what's
three.
this damn rebuild?
Yeah.
Put 'em on it.
So item 3.3, this is our town meeting schedule.
Yes, thank you. If the board would like, we would like to set the town meeting schedule. The reason we ask the board to just even tentatively set these dates well ahead of time allows us to just do two things. One, we go and book the rooms. And while town meeting is always a priority for use of the middle school or the high school, we don't want to kick existing programming out or hold up too many other potential events. So it lets us book those dates. It's also helpful to the staff. We have to back out dates for prep, dates for information. Even if we end up changing it, just knowing and allowing us to plan for that. We also do vacation blackouts. It's a soft blackout, just so we know that these are the dates. So the board's had the calendar. If you want to approve it, it would be appreciated. And that way we could move forward with just making sure we're blocking dates.
Let's start with Mr. Plasko.
Thank you. I have no problem with the dates. They've worked out the dates, and they look like they'll work. My concern is whether or not the locations are available.
Facilities is working on that.
Okay.
We'll now have the ability to book the high school and the middle school as a
By
backup.
accepting or approving, giving our blessing to go on with this schedule, it's really the schedule, not necessarily the locations.
Correct.
Okay.
And Mr.
I would
Simon?
just hope that the first one would be at the Coakley Middle School.
That's the goal, as long as
Yeah.
the schedule works out.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of interest in that expressed. You know, a lot of people were really eager to basically
Look
go
at
in
it.
and see it.
Speaking on that, I should have mentioned this while Mr. Slater was here. On the 20th of this month, from 10 to 2, there's an open house at the middle school. There's guided tours of the entire facility. So there'll be folks from the project team, from the building committee, probably even Mr. Slater himself there. 10 to 2, September 20th, at the Coakley Middle School. Show up and you can tour the building. It's open to the entire community, so bring friends, bring family. You can see the whole building.
Is that a Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Excellent.
What time, 8 to what?
10 to 2.
10 to 2.
10 to 2.
Perfect. Great, good idea.
Mr. Lane. All right, well, with that said, then, you're looking for a motion from us, correct?
Yes, please.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, motion made by Mr. Lane, seconded by Mr. Sad. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. All right, this next item, I'm actually going to take item 3.4 and 3.9 together. They're pseudo-related, so it made sense to me to just kind of combine them into one
Yeah,
topic.
absolutely. There was some discussion about just reviewing what the town does for downtown parking, and it sort of appeared as an item and a late item, because we actually have two different downtown parking programs, so I'll just explain them briefly, and then the board can take the discussion from there. We manage a winter overnight parking program. The town has done this for many, many years. It runs from the 15th of November to the 1st of April during the overnight parking ban. As we know, we don't allow generally overnight parking on the street. These permits are free. Applications are approved and reviewed by the police department. We had 157 applications this past year. About 45 of them were denied. Most of the reasons were either it's an out-of-state or a commercial vehicle. We don't allow permitting for that. Sometimes they have available parking in the driveway. This is not a I would like space program. There's no other option. Or they simply wanted to park in a street that's been marked as an emergency access road, and there's simply no way we can allow parking. So that's the first of our sort of available parking programs, if you wanted to call it that. The second is our downtown overnight parking program. This one is newer, just established probably 4 or 5 years ago. And sometimes we call it the municipal parking lot of the Central Business District Parking Lot Program. Established in 2021, vehicle owners who live within or adjacent to the central business district, and we've loosely defined that, are able to purchase a parking permit to park overnight. There are designated spaces in each of the municipal lots where they are required to park. The lots, as you know, are all-day parking. These allow overnight parking in those spaces. Those spaces were selected for a couple of reasons. One, to limit the overall number of available spaces, but two, to make enforcement easy for the police department. These permits run from a fiscal year, and you can purchase a permit at any time in the fiscal year. You're required to renew them annually. It's $150 a year for an annual permit. And we have, on average, it looks like between about 20 of these permits get issued a year. A few of these get denied. Usually folks are willing to come and register their vehicle. Commercial vehicles are exempt, are not allowed on the program unless approved by the board, and the board has denied one or two of those over the years. I think we've approved one or two if there's a small business downtown that happens to have a business labeled vehicle, or somebody who lives adjacent to the lot that has to have they have a work truck or something like that. The board's allowed a few of those, so I think it's helpful for the people who take advantage of it. But we've prevented cases where people are just drivers for an out-of-town business where it's like, that's not, the car would need to be registered here. So those are our two parking programs. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the planning board and parking downtown and how those work. I know Mr. Plasko wanted to bring up a discussion about what the goal of these programs was when the board originally came up with them. It was to allow parking for the folks living in or adjacent to the downtown area. But the size and scope, I should say the municipal parking lot program, the winter overnight parking program is just a reality of where folks are able to park in the streets. The municipal parking lot program, we only have 54 designated spaces. Folks have flexibility in between the lots where they want to stay within those 54 spaces, but we set that limit intentionally small. It could not grow significantly. We have 800 parking spaces that we own downtown or something like that, if you include the Babels lot. But it's about 8 to 10 at each of the lots, a little bit more at the Babels lot where there's sometimes called the Talbot lot, where there's more space. The Babels lot gets the most use, and then the post office lot gets the most use. This lot here and the theater lot get comparatively limited use. I'll pause there and throw it up for discussion.
Well, why don't I start with Mr. Plasko?
Thank you. Yeah, I did ask that we get this on the agenda and talk about it a little bit. It is a result of comments, things that are talked about recently at the planning board, but not directly connected to that. It made me go back to, it was never my intent, and I won't speak for the board, that when we started allowing parking, that it would possibly be used by people for new complexes, new developments that we were providing their parking. It was for the Folwin building, the Guile building, the older buildings, the rooming houses on Manhattan Street, the places that the town allowed to build prior to requiring parking, and today everyone has parking. We have to kind of work with them if we have the means, like particularly at the Talbot parking lot, to deal with those issues. But after we dealt with those issues, it wasn't my intent to be open to anyone else. And so I think the whole board should think about that and discuss that. But even if I'm in the minority on that issue, it caused me to go back and read the regulations. And I've got at least about 10 places that I think we might want to rechange the wording, correct or add or make them clearer. So I don't want to go over them tonight unless the board wants to. I think we should table this for another evening, but I think we should have whether you want me to come back with my changes or have the manager and have him come back with a proposal of whether or not there should be changes and what they should be. But I think this needs a closer review at this time.
Understood. I don't disagree with that. I'll take a couple more comments if anybody has any. Mr. Lane?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Mr. Plasko, I agree. I think putting it on a future agenda, digging in a little more, great idea.
Mr. Sad?
Yeah, I agree with Bill. I think that, and I just was gonna ask the manager, I know when I plow a little bit and I go up to Babel's and there's a whole bunch of cars in a storm in the back corner, does that impede us plowing, or how do they move their cars?
So we selected that area. This is I guess I'd call it a very town-friendly program, because we basically say you can park in the lot, and we don't guarantee we're gonna do anything for you. We selected the spaces where people park to make it easy for enforcement, but to make sure that the DPW could plow the lot. Our priority is the streets, and then we get the lots when we get them, so we don't have a strict, it's not like a rental agreement in an apartment complex, like we guarantee you'll be out by this time. We do none of that. That doesn't impede snow removal, because we've asked them to park there, so that way we can get the lot done, and that's why they are where they are. Why the spots are designated where they are. In the smaller lots, it's not that easy, but we make sure that DPW can at least get a pass and start getting spaces open after a storm.
Yeah, I agree with Bill. I think the intent is that we're gonna have a lot of development down in the bowling alley strip, that whole wing there, and a few others hopefully, or hopefully not, but I think we have to be really in tune with what's happening with the public parking. Thank you, Bill, for all your work.
I agree, and I would say, for my part, I think it's really important for us to be clear about what our intent is, right? There's, what our intent is versus how are people trying to use it, and we just want to make sure that our policies are very clearly communicating that intent, that there's no confusion, that any cross boards that might be looking to our board for sort of, oh, should we, shouldn't we type feedback, that it's all very clear, there's no real sort of gray areas around it.
Yeah, I think this was one of the first sort of tests of whether or not the planning board would give a parking waiver, and I think the scope concerned a lot of people, and certainly limited to, remember, we have 54 spaces designated. Could that grow? Yeah, to 75. So it's a fairly limited municipal parking program, because what we were clear in the beginning is we didn't want to get in the business of managing parking space. We recognize we have a problem downtown, we have a need, it's convenience, but we didn't want to be in the business of doing that. So we're not at capacity, but this doesn't have the chance to grow. It's not going to be a substantial solution for a significant parking need. There's also the commercial need for the parking as well, which is, I think, interwoven a little bit more in some of the, our zoning requirements that, they may ignore parking requirements. That's if you had a shoe store go out and a small restaurant go in that might need 15 spaces. Well, it's already downtown. You're not going to make them get 15 additional spaces. There's commercial space available in the lot. If we had unlimited capacity, which is not a real thing, you could say, sure, it's available, but we're at probably a third of our max capacity and half of the authorized capacity, roughly.
And I think it would be good to have
It's been 5 years.
Glasgow bring the things that he's noticed in the policy, work with the manager. The manager and staff may also notice other things about the policy that's worth taking a second look at. And the rest of us can continue to review it as well. But if we could have the manager and Mr. Glasgow come back to us at a future meeting with some recommendations and then work from there.
I think we can do that.
We'll do that.
All right, so I'll take a motion to that effect.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Lane and seconded by
On the
Mr.
motion,
Sack.
just if we
Yes.
can get that rough draft prior, so if we have to mark it up
Yes.
also,
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be great. Yes, thank you. I'll second that.
Absolutely. All right, seconded by Mr. Sad. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. All right, so that'll take care of 3.4.
On the manager's report about the Winter Street, that's just information, or do you need a vote continuing this, approving it?
No, it's just, it's a,
Because this is what it's been, right?
yeah, that's just, it was to frame the whole discussion
Yeah.
that
Yeah, okay.
we do run two different programs, if you will.
Yeah, and I don't foresee the two different programs aspect changing. I think we'll continue to have two
Yeah, they are.
programs.
It-
It's just the specifics of the program.
It's one of those things, if somebody says, well, what does the town do for parking downtown? It's like, well, hold on, what are you talking about here? Are you talking
Right,
about
right.
winter overnight parking? Are you talking about the municipal parking lot program? Are you talking about our parking regulations? It's
Right,
just to
exactly.
frame the discussion with the appropriate complexity.
All right, so that'll take care of 3.4 and 3.9. So now we're down to 3.5.
Which I believe we were going to table, Madam Chair, until Mr. Donnelly returned, is that?
Yeah, there was some conversation about waiting for Mr. Donnelly to come back, and I think that makes sense, and I also don't think that you need to wait for me in particular for that, so if we wanted to table it to the 23rd, I think that's totally fine.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by, was that by Mr. Plasko or Mr. Sapp? Mr. Plasko. All right.
Senior
And
member.
seconded by Mr. Lane. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. And then item 3.6, this is the CPA grant applications for approval.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll take the board briefly through, you have in your packet the CPA applications that general government departments will be submitting to CPA, should this board approve that. First up, we have the restoration of old annual town reports, which is an annual request. This would restore an additional 22 annual town reports. We believe this will be the last request in this series. This brings us up to roughly mid-century. Everything from that point on is in pretty good condition. I'm sure 10 or 15 years from now, somebody's gonna say, oh my God, you haven't updated a book from the 70s, but they're still in good condition. So this takes care of damaged books and brings us up to roughly mid-century and gets us to where we wanna be.
Great.
We can always circle back with
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, that's
too,
what I
if you don't have
figured.
any.
If everyone's okay, I think we let the manager move through and just take a note of questions we want to ask at the end.
Sure. This project would request an inventory of historic assets inside Town Hall, the Morse House, and the Morrill Memorial Library. We have been looking at, different paintings that need some work and different other historic items, and we're still moving forward with some of those projects. But this would be hiring a preservation consultant to realistically look at what does need to be preserved and what doesn't need to be preserved in each of these buildings, get a good list going, and then to help both CPA and to help us, put a plan together. What's our plan? What order do we want to tackle them in? And what needs to get done? And what's the size and scope of some of these recommendations? The restoration of the cannon outside Town Hall, I believe everyone on the board certainly knows, but in case there's anyone listening at home, and I know I always say it's not a TV show, but just so they know, the cannon outside is actually a German cannon. It was World War I spoils. They were brought over, and I believe the American Legion was distributing them at the time. So our cannon is a German cannon. It was restored in 2009, and then there was some additional work in 2015. However, it is once again starting to show some issues. The cannon itself is rusted. It does need to have some work done to remove the rust. The pedestal that's there is also showing some cracking. We've gotten a couple of different estimates, and between my office and the VSO's office, we're seeking $115,000 for repair work to the cannon to preserve the cannon for future generations.
Question, comments on that?
Yep.
Do you know where the estimate, 114,000 came from?
From a couple of different vendors we spoke to, I can get you the specific
You
estimates.
found vendors?
What, excuse me?
You found vendors?
Yes, we
Good.
actually, I think one of them is the same vendor who's worked on it in the past. It's a specialty project, but there are vendors out there that do historic restoration.
I think there might not be the gentleman who did it before, because my son's a selectman in Uxbridge. They have the exact same cannon, and they just redid theirs. And they did it through donations, not town's funds. They were only able to raise like $40,000. They go out to bid and no bidders. They talked to different people. They were able to get a local talent, I guess, to volunteer to do it for the town. But he told them it was well over 100,000. I don't know what well is. Is that 110 or is that 150? But well over 100,000 he put into it to get it done. There was a real problem with whether or not the wheels could get redone, and our wheels are falling apart out there.
Yeah.
So there may have to be a different type of wheel. The kind of information they were given that they, in the future, might not be able to get that done. And he did speak to the gentleman that did ours. He's up in his 80s and didn't sound like he had any interest in doing it. He didn't have any interest in doing this. So you may have to find other vendors. I'm just thinking I have no problem with supporting the project, but it might be a tough one. Simple as it might seem, sending that cannon out, it may be difficult.
Oh, no, I agree with you. This is the type of project that is probably, in some ways, as difficult as the middle school, right? It's a massive World War I era cannon that we're trying to make sure we're restoring. It is not easy. If it was just a hunk of metal, this would be a $10,000 job, but it's not a hunk of metal. We've gotten some preliminary estimates. We still remember, these wouldn't go to town meeting until May, so we'll continue, and we'll have to go out to bid, but we'll continue to refine the estimates. We're really seeking the conceptual approval. The amount was an early estimate that we got, but to your point, I don't think there's gonna be anything less than $100,000. If the whole pedestal has to be done, and it has to be disassembled and the whole pedestal getting done, you could be looking at additional funds. That being said, we have a responsibility to preserve our history. This is what CPA is for, is the other side of that. Otherwise, you run the risk that, does it break beyond repair, does it get damaged, and then what do we do? It's probably 10 grand to throw the thing away. Not that I'm suggesting we would ever do that, but we don't want a broken cannon on Town Hall.
If we spend that much money, will it work?
I can get an estimate for getting it to work if we need to go westward or something.
Actually, when they did the one in Uxbridge, it was still
Still functional.
down. The gentleman said he almost got killed. Oh, no. But he had to disengage or whatever you call it.
Teddy has assured me that this one is in there.
Yeah, it has been in the past. They have so said.
Which is sad.
I know it's a complicated project, but you think Blue Hills can attack this?
No, God, no.
No?
No,
Especially don't want them to get injured by it.
Yeah, not something students could, I wouldn't trust our historic asset with students who haven't done something like this before. It's complicated, and there's some danger to it.
Yeah.
There's other work in the building we've considered them for. We have to restore some of the doors in the building. The doors in the building are original, but that's just restoring a door. This is, specialty work, and there's a safety component to it too. You have that thing in a shop and you have it up on a hoist, it falls, it'll kill someone. It's dangerous beyond the fact that it's a cannon,
They
so.
could repair right on the spot where it's at now?
They might be able to, but I wouldn't take a risk with a student working on something like that.
There's some work, at least minor work on the foundation as well needed.
Yeah. I mean, we could all be wrong. Somebody could come in and say, the foundation's fine, we just need to tighten it up and tighten a few bolts and strip it and repaint it, but we should be prepared for getting it done right. The cannon's not otherwise gonna go anywhere, so.
All right, ready for the next item?
Yeah, if I could get my laptop to. Studying options for the stone wall at Shattuck Park. We're seeking $32,000. The board is aware, we've gotten some requests in the past, and we've gotten some estimates to repair the historic stone wall that's at Shattuck Park. You don't see it through a lot of the park because it's just actually fallen into the park. So it's really a historic pile of stones that rings the park. We think restoration would be a good idea. One estimate we got a year ago for restoration was something like $180,000. We're particularly sensitive to the neighbors in the area. Everyone thinks we're doing something to the Shattuck Park. We just want to look at restoring the wall. But given that it's historic nature and given the neighborhood sensitivity and the sensitivity to the park, we would like to have a landscape architect come in, actually look at the parts of the wall that are structurally sound and working, analyze them, look at the parts that are down, give us some sketches of what it would look like, engage the community. Would this change anything? Some parts of the wall have been down for a long time, but it is a colonial era stone wall. So with some of these projects, it's good to take it early, take it slow. Whereas this is different from the cannon. We know the cannon is going to be there, the wall is going to be there, but and I'm just speculating here, we might say, okay, well, we're restoring the wall and now 1/3 of the property has a wall on it, the rest of it doesn't. Will it look right? So there's more decision-making with this that could come out of it, whereas the cannon, if we want it to be fixed, we need to fix the cannon.
Yeah. Mr. Plasko?
Thank you. I have one main concern. Who's going to be in charge of this?
Who would you like to be in charge of it?
Well, I would personally want an individual that we can hold responsible for it, overseeing it, not a committee. With all due respect to, say, for example, the historic commission, there's additional services that could very easily be dipped into and start costing us a lot more money. So somebody needs to really know what we're doing, know what the contract includes, or doesn't include, and not ask for a million extra meetings they're gonna charge you for. If you look at the additional services, they're things we wanna keep control on.
If the board would feel comfortable, I'll have to get back to you, but I can assign somebody from my staff as the project lead on it, because there should be a staff lead on the project, and then that way we'll have a direct conduit for the project. They'll support the Historic Commission in their effort, but we'll have a direct staff
Yeah, I
lead.
don't think you need that problem. I don't know about the Conservation Committee, CPC, what they asked for, but administratively, I'd like to see something, definitely have your office or someone in the town government controlling.
I'll make sure that we do that.
Amanda, Tony, I thought on the deed, when they donated the land, they wanted to keep it natural.
So that's
Is that true?
actually urban legend. We spent a couple of years ago, everyone said that the deed said it had to be kept forever wild. We spent an inordinate amount of time a couple of years ago researching it. There is nothing in the deed. We went back to all the town meeting files. We went back to town council letters from the 20s. The only restriction is that it stay a park.
Okay.
That's all. Okay, and I believe that's actually the last of the projects. There was one item that we were going to submit, which was a request for a senior home preservation program or repair program that would allow seniors under a certain income limit to access funds for small repairs to the home. The CPA, the association that works with the CPA, doesn't think that's eligible for CPA funds. I don't know that I agree with them and would like to start a fight with them. However, I'm cognizant of the time I have to fight all these different battles. So that being said, if we just accept that as it is and not have the unnecessary fight, we wouldn't put that through a CPA, but would the board be interested in seeing a proposal where we would do the same thing, the senior center would run it, but it would just be an appropriation out of free cash. We would run it for a couple of years, see how it goes, and then come back.
Do we want to see a proposal? The devil's in the details, so we won't do anything without a proposal.
Well, sure. I wouldn't say, are you okay with us submitting a warrant article for a couple $100,000 to just put a program together. But what we would do is it would be the same thing. Instead, it would just be general fund money instead of CPA money.
Yeah, so I think as a board, we'd have an appetite for seeing a proposal for sure to actually consider, like you say, what exactly would we plan to do if we don't go the CPA route. And I have a feeling we probably won't be able to, because we've on CPA run into this with other proposals, not from town government, just from other individuals that have brought forward what seemed like really exciting projects. And then we got they really have a very distinct set of guidelines about what counts as maintenance versus what counts as preservation, and sometimes it's a little difficult to intuit.
Yeah, a little bit of a gray line. I think the senior house preservation project would pass, but I'm willing to admit that, if we're not getting past the initial smell test, I don't know that we need to have that battle.
Right.
If we want to do the project and there's some value to it. We've always committed to doing what we can do to help seniors and keep them in their homes. This might end up being cost effective. It could be something we do for a year or two and then we just don't do again.
Right. Mr. Savage, did you have a question?
No, I think, my question is, out of that 10 million left over, couldn't we allocate 250 or 300,000 and allocate that as a 25-year plan for them, for repairs and stuff?
No, that money from the middle school would have to be for a municipal capital project.
Okay, all right, that's it, Madam Chair.
Well, with
And
that-
that's on the CPA applications.
All right, excellent. So at this point, other than, like I say, I think the senior repair or
We'll get a memo
preservation
together on
program, bring something forward for us for future for that when we take a look at it.
Yeah,
But in
that's
terms of
not in there
the-
anyhow, you withdrew that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Correct.
that one's withdrawn.
We've got to work
Yep,
on
yep.
it.
But for all of the other ones, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve submitting them
Right.
to CPC.
Motion made by Mr. Plasko, seconded by Mr. Lane. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
All right, now we're down to 3.7. This is the request for historic tax credit for the Norwood Press Complex. Mr. Manager, I believe you have the background on this?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The Historic Commission is asking the board to support Oris Inc.'s application for the Massachusetts Historic Rehabilitation Tax Credit for the Norwood Press Complex at 932 Washington Street. That's the large complex across from Honeydew. This program creates a tax credit of up to 20% of the cost to rehabilitate historic income-producing properties. Oris Inc. is a local tech company with 32 employees. They purchased the building in late 2024. It used to be, it was a camp company. Their name escapes me at the moment. They ran very expensive camps. But Oris is a private company, so they want to restore the building, including the historic interior elements and new windows. The building would also return to the tax rolls in 2026. It returns to the tax rolls regardless, which is good. The previous, I think, was the X-Flow Camp Center, was a nonprofit, so they obviously didn't pay property taxes. This group will actually be paying property taxes because it's just a business. And it's owned by two folks who moved to Norwood from Boston 6 years ago. Now, the Mass Historic Rehabilitation Tax Credit, it is a state-funded program, so that's important. This has nothing to do with local money. We don't spend $1 on this. Dollar doesn't come out of anything. This is not a TIF, none of that. It's a state-funded program that helps offset renovation costs for historic properties. It offers a state tax credit of up to 20% of qualified rehabilitation credits. Again, not any local dollars. The local government doesn't lose anything. The assessment doesn't go down anything. It's a competitive application. It's a 3-step process. The state has to assure that the property's historic significance is there. There's a detailed plan of work that the Mass Historic Commission has to approve. And then there's a final review upon project completion. And of course, the local historic commission, the local board of selectmen have to approve it. It's funded by the state. There's no local property tax business. No local property tax impact or involvement. So all the historic commission's seeking is the board's approval to move forward with this business's application for historic tax credit.
Excellent. All right, any questions, comments, Mr. Sad?
I guess my concern is almost with Governor Allen's estate. If they come in and we give them a tax break approval.
So, full stop right there. Let's make sure we're clear. We are not giving anyone a tax break. The
No, the
town of
state
Norwood,
is.
correct, the
Right.
Commonwealth.
Okay, so we don't have any control of what they're doing to make it historical?
No,
Who's gonna
the-
oversee it? The historical commission?
Not the historical commission, the state does.
Okay.
And again, it's for preserving a historic building.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that everything's getting restored to 1812 when the mill was built or whenever it
No,
was
no,
built.
I understand that, but at least it keeps some
The state, yeah.
value that we can say.
Well, the
that-
exterior in particular, I mean, if you take a look at the building, I think it's brick.
Yeah,
They could plaster it over with cheap siding or something like that, that would look awful. So
Right.
I think you're gonna see that facade stay the same.
and we have any guarantee that they're gonna do that?
That's what the state does. We
Okay, as
don't,
long as it's in writing.
Yeah.
Perfect, as Bill says, verify it.
Any other questions, comments? Mr. Plasko?
I favor seeing something nice done with this property. As a member of the Economic Development Committee, certainly like to see that back on the tax roll and keep a firm that's in Norwood and growing. So it's a plus plus. But I'd be remiss if I didn't admit I'm a little reluctant to put my name on this application, because if you read the application itself and look at it closely, particularly the pictures and descriptions that whoever put this together includes, while it's all interesting reading, it talks about the whole complex down there. And 932 is only a little part in the middle. I won't say a little, say a third of it, but in the middle. And a lot of the pictures and description are the other two ends of the building, and they're not actually part of the application. Now, maybe we don't need to worry about that because the state's going to verify whether they submitted or not. But at the same time, we're supporting something that isn't going to happen.
Well, but the building itself is still historic.
Yeah.
Right, so in a lot of the work, and what works with the rehabilitation credit is, remember, it's rehabilitation, it's not restoration, so there's a difference. They're gonna modernize it for offices. There's offices that are actually in there now. The space that they've built out for offices that's in there now, I toured it last year, it's actually very nice. They have a large work floor area that could use a lot of work.
I think they are working as cars are every day, yeah.
Correct. But they're gonna do the interior over, including all of those spaces. So it's really about, do you save a historic building? Yes, parts of the building may not have any work done necessarily, but it's about, do you want to preserve the historic building because they're willing to preserve it rather than tear it down and try to build something new. Between the Historic Commission and the State Historic Commission, they make the determination as to whether or not it's actually historic.
Right.
Yeah.
It's whether we would support the
Really, their
application, should
project, their
they.
money,
Yeah, whether we would support it.
and the parts that are local that we would benefit from are great, so I guess we support it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It really is a low lift on our part
Yeah.
to hopefully help get a local business some support from the state.
Any other questions or concerns? Otherwise, pleasure of the board.
We're just under letter of support, right?
Yeah, to
Motion to
approve
do,
and send a letter of
motion to do
support.
so.
Seconded.
Motion.
Direct and authorize the chair to send the letter on the board's behalf.
All right, motion made by Mr. Plasko, seconded by Mr. Lane. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. Now we have item 3.8. This is the Town of Norwood Hazard Mitigation Plan 2025 update.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've received preliminary approval from FEMA for the hazard mitigation plan pending local approval. Was presented to the board to their satisfaction on April 9th. Since then, there have been some minor revisions to address comments from MEMA and FEMA. We are just asking for your adoption and signature of said changes.
All right. Any questions from the board?
What are the changes?
They were included in your packet from the planning department.
Move to adopt and authorize and direct the chair to sign the document.
Seconded.
Motion made by Mr. Plasko, seconded by Mr. Lane. Any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. All right, now we are on a late agenda item. This is item 3.10. This is for the Eagle Scout projects, and this is regarding a trail project and kiosk. And for clarity, when we say kiosk, we don't mean like a person at a desk. We mean, you know, informational
A sign,
signage.
yeah, a bulletin board type sign.
Bulletin board.
I keep using the word kiosk and realize that some people might think that means like a standing desk or something
Right.
like that. Yeah, just a request for 2 Eagle Scout projects. One would be signage, the other one would be, they call it a Grace Trail concept, which is really just putting some markers at an outdoor area that people would follow and reflect on.
All right, questions from the board?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Sad,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Lane. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. All right, I believe that takes us down to the manager's update.
Nothing directly, Madam Chair. I was going to bring up the late agenda item, but we got it on the late agenda item. I don't have anything for the board. I'm just back in the office after a couple days under the weather.
We're glad you're feeling better.
I'm just about there. I unfortunately missed Norwood Day, and I keep hearing about Norwood the movie, but I was dead on my feet, so to speak.
Well, it was a good time.
We're in it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a great community
I
event.
should have got Jerry Miller to do me a live stream, but
Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, well, then we can move down to the Selectmen's agenda. I will start with Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just two quick items. Just wanted to mention, the Board of Selectmen is proud to announce that Norwood's own Tim McDonough has been selected to receive the Marcia P. Crowley Distinguished Citizen Award from the New England chapter of the American Society for Public Administration. Tim's lifelong service to Norwood includes becoming the youngest selectman and youngest school committee member in our town's history, years of dedicated work as an assessor, and over 20 years leading the Norwood Circle of Hope. Even while courageously battling an illness this year, Tim has continued to give back to our community with grace and grit. He'll be formally honored at the NEASPA annual meeting on September 19th, 2025. On behalf of the town of Norwood, we congratulate Tim and thank him for his extraordinary service. If you want to pass that
Yes.
to Jeff, if he wants to include any of that language in his forthcoming article, that would be nice.
really old pictures of Tim we can use too.
That would be great.
Congratulations to Tim.
And in Mr. Donnelly's absence, he asked me to just mention as well that, and we've talked about this, about the Black Earth Compost Program, that there's still time to sign up as Norwood pilot participants, 25% off standard rates. And you can just go to their website fairly easily. And even today, actually, did you get the little tag?
Yes, I
on
got
it?
the little door hangers. Yep, we'll get a
Yeah,
little.
so they're
there's a
making it very
little QR
easy.
code.
And if 400 households enroll by September 30th, the density discount will be applied to our first payment, which is great. So there's incentive to do that. And I'll be doing that too this week. So,
Same.
yeah, other than that, just, thanks to all the chiefs that were here and to Mr. Ryan and especially Mr. Slater for the work that he's done in having the middle school open up last week, which has been really great. So,
Excellent.
all right, thank you, Madam Chair.
I'll move to Mr. Plasko.
Thank you. I would like to request, hope the board agrees, that the notices that are sent from the planning board and the zoning board in particular, at the moment, I think the practice is to go to the manager's office. I'd like to see that those come directly to the board, and that we can simply, my suggestion would be simply that they get listed under memoranda on our agendas, and that way it doesn't take up any particular time, but all members are then informed of any of the matters that may feel are important to the community or the board have a position on. That's why they're sent to us in the first place. But a lot of times, I think they're getting sent down the office and files, and we don't know what they are. We get the monthly report, and it's nice. They tell us what they've done and what they've already acted on, but that's after they've been acted on. We need to know, we may need to know in advance. So the only way we're gonna know that is if we get copies of the notices. And they are addressed to the board, because it's by law that they're supposed to come to the board.
Certainly one of the work that, what notices in particular you?
Planning board and zoning, I'm thinking, I'm not sure if there's others, those are the two that jump out at me.
Okay, maybe this week
Maybe
we can sit
Conservation
down.
Commission.
I'm just trying to think of what's coming on. We'll find a solution, but let's
Yeah,
sit
yeah,
and
find a way to-
figure it out.
I know we used to get them, and we thought it would be more practical and easy to have them just go to one place down at your office.
Right.
But I personally don't think that's working out. We're not necessarily getting informed on things we might want to have a heads up on.
And you're adding the Board of Appeals in there, right?
Zoning board, I said, yeah.
Yeah, make sure, yeah. I was gonna bring that up early on my agenda, but go
So
ahead.
it's really just instructing them to send them up here.
Yeah, just
Can
to CC.
can CC your office as well, but.
Yeah, I just want to sit and talk about what notices.
And then,
Like hearings
then
and
the way
stuff.
we get them, the information itself is simply put them on the agenda as memorandum as they come in.
Yeah, so it would just be us adding, like you say, we can look and
We
see
can
sort
do
of
it, I
how
just want
the
to just
flow.
identify specifically what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
So
Yeah,
that's-
exactly.
that's all I-
Why don't we, the next time we meet?
Yeah, we'll sit down next week and go
Yeah.
over it.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Sack.
I got pages of everybody to thank here. First, I want to thank Sam White and his team for an outstanding Norwood Day. Everything was spectacular. The Women's Community Committee, 100th year, Auntie Lyden Award winner. Great day on the gazebo, the Walter Dempsey gazebo. It worked out great for them and for the town. They deserved it. They did a lot of work over the last 100 years and to make Norwood a better place. So congratulations to the Women's Community Committee. I want to thank the Board of Selectmen, Chairman Amanda, Matt, Bill, Bob, and Tony for the, I guess, support with the rally. It cost us $134 for all the stuff we did. And we got the billboards, the signs. Amanda gave a great speech. Bill had a good follow-up speech. The team did a great job. We did a few little speaking arrangements we could to different towns, getting their support. Medfield came through, and I don't know if you saw that letter, spectacular. The letter that was just precise and powerful letter to Governor Healy about the hospital. So I want to thank, if you could send a letter back to them, Foxborough, Dover, and Medfield especially, those are the three towns that came through. Johnny Carroll with the billboards out front, and Lamar for $0 gave us all that publicity on Route 1. Huge, huge publicity for the Norwood community and the hospital. So thanks to everybody that helped. And Mr. Manager, on 5355 Allendale, I was going to bring it up with the chief, I don't know who, or Mark. They're looking for that, because of the curbing now, the residents on the inside of the circle are looking for a mirror, so when they drive around the corner. And I can chat with you tomorrow about
Yeah,
that.
we can look at it. I'll have to send you the link. We have an app that you can report these things through. It's actually a much more efficient way to report it because it goes right into the public works queue and we bang those things
Oh, that's
out.
too much work for me.
It's easier than,
We probably.
it's better service to the residents.
I'll call you for it, you can submit it.
We probably should do another awareness campaign burst of some type about that feature, because I think
Yeah.
sometimes, you put it out there and then it sort of kind of falls by the wayside as people kind of fall back into old habits. But it really is the fastest way to get an assist, because instead of doing the chain of, it comes to us and then we go to the manager and then the manager goes to the department head and the department head goes to the worker, instead it's just going right to the people that are going
Yeah,
to do
for
the
simple
work.
work orders, we would like to get them in as quickly as we can. And it's not uncommon, people will call my office, they want to talk to the town manager, what can I help you with? I got a pothole in my street. Okay, let me call Mark, so Mark can
Right.
call a foreman to tell him to add it on the list, we can get it through.
Put it in the paper, that's a great idea. I didn't know we had that.
Yeah, exactly. That's, I think the awareness,
Yeah.
like we'd promoted it a
Using the
bit. We also had a lot
I
going on
think
at the
IT's
time.
undergoing an upgrade of it, and once
Oh,
that's
excellent.
done, that'll be a good time
Yes,
to
let's
get
do
it out
then.
there.
A
Absolutely.
couple more things. I just want to congratulate my fishing partner, Brian DeMeo, for retiring last week. And also, Ollie Abdel is getting a big award tomorrow at the
The registry.
Yeah.
Registry of
mention that,
Deeds,
thank you.
3 o'clock. And I congratulate Ollie and all the work she's done over the years. And one more thing is a shout out to Jerry Kelleher and his team. What a great movie and a great proud moment for Norwood. And it all worked out. It was just a great day with a great ending, the cherry on top. So it worked out great for that. And Budget Committee, we started that Budget Committee yet?
Oh,
Okay, we could follow up on that.
Talk about
And-
budget balancing, sorry.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, which one do you mean? Yeah,
The
we got,
balancing.
we got a few.
Yeah. And then one more thing, is the Buck Fund closed?
I think we're tonight.
Today, it was as
Yeah,
of
yeah.
today.
Okay, so it's closed. That's it, Madam Chairman. I thank everybody, and I thank you for support and help, and it was a great weekend for Norwood.
Absolutely. For my part, I've only got 2 items for us tonight. One is, I received some communication from the Old Parish volunteers. They're currently looking to seek out some grant assistance. We love the work they do up there, but part of this grant application is that they need a letter of praise from their town board. And so I'm looking for support from the board to authorize me to write a recommendation letter for the Old Parish. I'm happy to send a draft around if you need it.
We've done that a few times. I think we all agree on that, so just authorize the chair to do so.
Second.
All right, motion made by Mr. Plasko, seconded by Mr. Sad. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, unanimous. And the second thing is just a community awareness item here. It's that the Norwood Council of Aging and the Norwood Senior Center are hosting an event which is Navigating the Next Chapter. And so this is focused on if you're thinking of retiring or if you've retired recently, this is an informational session. This will be on Thursday, September 18th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and it'll be at the Senior Center. The event features expert speakers discussing Social Security and Medicare, and it'll also be a time to explore over 20 different vendors offering resources on everything from financial planning, volunteering, recreation, organization, and home updates. So there's something for everybody, so this will be a great event. We wanted to make sure the community was aware of it, whether you're already in your retirement recently or you're on the cusp of pulling the trigger. This should be a great event for folks. And with that, that was the only items I had on my list tonight. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Right, motion made by Mr. Lane, seconded by Mr. Plasko. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. All right, we're all set. Everybody have a good night.